What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And I'm telling y'all, right now it was a very eventful day. I feel like God is 100% on my side because on the way to my job today, my tire ended up popping, right? And the way it popped, it was like the outside of the tire was good. The what is it called? The tread level was amazing. It wasn't even like 3 months old, you know? And ended up spiraling, like the whole inside of the tire just gave out. And the guy that was replacing the tire, he said, bro, God gotta be on your side because that could have been really bad for you. Especially I was on the highway going 70, so I had to go from 70 to just pull over on the side of the road and change out my spare. So luckily I got that changed out. I don't have to worry about that headache anymore. But there are things in life that you go through that make you feel like you're chosen for something. And for me, there's been too many times in my life where I've gone through things, and I've gone through things that should have messed me up way more than it actually did. Sometimes I would get off scot-free, and all I could think was, damn, this is God working. This is God having my back when I need him. And in situations like that, that's what's affirmed my faith in God when I didn't have any, because I've been through too many experiences in life where I probably should be dead, and I'm not. So I give that thanks and that grace to God to say, thank you for showing me that you are real. You know, because in those moments when that happens, you're like, nah, there's no way I'm alive, or there's no way I got through this without getting fucked, even worse than I should have. That's God's blessing, and that's what made me believe, y'all. But enough of this. I'll see y'all on the inside. Today's gonna be another shoulder and arm day superset, but my forearms are still dead sore because even when I'm not working on my forearms, they're still getting some work because of gripping heavy weight. So my forearms are fried. We're not going to be touching those today. Today we're going to be focused more on our bicep and our triceps, with a huge focus on our bicep and delts. Because honestly speaking, your tricep gets a little bit of work when I hit chest, so I don't really need to hit that as much. But my biceps and my shoulders, they're not going to get that much work, so I got to hammer those in. And yeah, let's go ahead and get inside on the inside, y'all. I'll see y'all when we hit the first workout. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, so with the first workout I'm going to end up doing, instead of working on my arms like I normally do, the arm section is pretty packed, so I'm going to be switching over to front delts. And honestly speaking, y'all, I think I may have overdone it with the free, because right now I'm fucking like I'm actually overstimulated to the point where I feel like hit. but we're going to use this energy and just flow with it. Right now I'm doing front delts, and we're going to start off with 40s going all the way up to 60s. And last time I did it, the form on the way down was amazing. But I like to see with the barbell, I have kind of a limitation. It would be better with a dumbbell so I could actually get the front, like actually feel more of a stretch in the front delt instead of throughout the whole shoulder, if that makes sense. But let's go ahead and get this going, y'all. We're going to be doing 4 sets of 10. And with this one, I'm honestly going to be going progressively overload, especially because my grip is still fucked, yo. And you know, it's something weird I recently found out. I was watching Alex Hormozy and the way he actually works out, and I was like, bro, you work out like this every single day? It's not even that the workouts were crazy per se, but they were like full body workouts every single day. And then he got into explaining that he works out like that because he's not trying to add more muscle. He's just looking at maintaining. And it made a little more sense, but I'm like, fuck, bro. Right now, I'm only doing three type of workouts per gym day. It's going to be chest and back, arms and shoulders, and then legs. And now I'm doing legs every other time because you can't work out legs as much as you can do the rest of your body because of the level of fatigue you get. But I'm starting to get fatigued in other places. Like I told y'all, this time I'm still sore from the other day of fucking arms and shoulders. My forearms are still fucking fried. So I'm trying to figure out how to go ahead and navigate this shit because the intensity has been dialed up by 10 times. And because before then, if I hit a muscle group, it's going to be 5 days before I hit that muscle group again. But now I'm working out the muscle group every other day. So the load on the muscle group is 10 times higher. And I'm trying to use that to be a catalyst to go ahead and make me grow. But we're going to see how that goes. So enough yapping, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead into the second set. And you know, I gotta stop doing that. I've been saying I'm gonna take a rest and I just gap through the rest. All right, so let's go ahead and move up and weight. Yeah, let's go to 50s. Whoosh. And you know, honestly, one thing I'm kind of struggling with, I don't know if I want to go ahead and like cut bulk because my style of working out is actually curated to grow, right? Like the intensity level is to grow with strength, to grow in the actual physique and not the definition, so per se. And so I'm kind of debating if I want to get bigger. Like I've been looking at myself in the pose now, and I don't know if I want to get bigger or if I want to cut, because right now I'm like at a happy medium. I'm not shredded, but I'm also not both. You know what I mean? And granted, I am down. I'm starting to fluctuate between 151 and 155 depending on the day now. So if I want to go lighter, it's going to be grueling. It's going to be a struggle for me because I love eating, bro. And now that I'm limited to 1,800 calories, that's 2 meals with a snack, bro. That ain't shit. So it's like, fuck, bro. I did it again. I just yapped through my rest, bro. Fuck. So let's go ahead and knock out this next 10. Oh, shut up. All right. We're only doing one more set. We're only going to be doing one more set because I'm actually having to taper off the higher sets because of the intensity of this workout. So after this one, we're going to go work out on that arm superset, and I need to kind of mentally prepare for that. So I'm going to take a little rest, and I'll bring y'all right back in. Oops. And honestly, you know, I was going to take some rest, but then I kind of got an idea hit my head, and I want to share this with y'all, bro. You know, for the past 3 years, I've become extremely isolated. And honestly, that happened through becoming stoic. Choosing to become a stoic person and see the people around me that didn't serve my purposes. And instead of helping me move forward, they were actually holding me back very, very fucking hard. From putting me in situations that could have me locked up to just getting me around the wrong crowd. And in order to change that, I had to level up and become stoic and become isolated in a way. And honestly, I've seen both the good and the bad side of being stoic and becoming isolated. And I'm thinking about making another video just discussing that because, honestly speaking, I've learned a lot of lessons from just being with myself. And I've gotten to the point where I'm happy being alone. But at the end of the day, the bad side of being alone is the fact that you have nobody. So there's a good and bad side to being isolated from other people. And I'm thinking about making a video on my personal experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything that I've learned from becoming an isolated individual. Whew. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this next set. And if y'all want to go ahead and see that video, just let me know because I'm becoming more fluid and more like buying the camera was an amazing decision because now I can record as much as I want and then upload and edit on the back end. You know what I mean? So it allows me to kind of keep myself, kind of like hold myself accountable in a better way, if that makes any sense to you. But let's go ahead and get into this last set. Oops, for another day. All right, y'all. Now I'm gonna go ahead and see if the arm area opened up, and I'll be right over there. I'll see you on the next shot. And yeah, y'all. Granted, no, the lessons that I've learned through becoming stoic have actually transformed my life to being more positive, and more positive on just about every front. The only downside about being so stoic is the fact that in being stoic, you actually cut off a lot of people, and some of those people may have been the benefit to you. You know what I mean? And even with them being a benefit to you, adding some kind of happiness or something in your life, it is still up to you to cut them out so that you can progress. Because at the end of the day, you either cut the weight and grow or stay exactly the same way. And at the time when I was going through that, I didn't want to stay the same way. And it took a lot for me to change. All of my friends, everybody I surrounded myself with, essentially from becoming better, I was ostracized. And going through that really transforms how you are, and it vitalizes the opinion that you are actually alone in this world. But I want you to know that if you're willing to do that in order to better yourself, you're not alone. You have yourself. You're moving towards the direction of being closer with God. And all of those things should be taken into consideration, because you'll have a sense of grief, because essentially you're giving up a life that you have to have what you want. But at the end of the day, you're still giving up a life, you know? So you have to mourn the fact that you're no longer the same person. And that might be painful. That might cause you some loneliness. And that might be, honestly speaking, that might be the biggest and most stressful thing you'll go through. Having to kill the old you so the person you want to become can be born. But in 10 years, you will be happy that you took that risk. You will be happy that you didn't stay the same way, especially if your friends put you in situations where you can actually end up dead, jail, or even more messed up, man. So that's just me, my personal advice to you guys. So that's why I want to go ahead and make a video where I'm talking about how the lessons I learned from being isolated, because they are good, but there are some bad lessons that if I could help you avoid, I would love to. Because if I had somebody to guide me through this, I may not have went through what I went through. And I just need to reflect on that so I can help, you know? Use your experiences in life to help other people, because you would have loved if somebody helped you at that point. You know what I mean? But enough yapping, yo. Let's go ahead and get into the sets. And now this is the superset. And keep in mind, right now, it's going to be a set focused mainly on the biceps, and I'm not doing shit on forearms. So let's keep this shit rolling. Alright. And then now, with this one, the key is to keep the intensity high as fuck. As high as you can push it, keep it going. Because, yeah, just keep it pushing, bro. And, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Now we're moving over to skull crushers. Ooh, shoulda. Alright, so let's keep it pushing, bro. I'm actually feeling solid. 30s are light. I'm actually probably going to be going on 50s today. And yeah, sometimes you have to pull motivation from where it's available. Don't be mad that you're angry at life and you only have anger as your source of fuel. Use that shit. Use what you got instead of whining about what you don't. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and change out the weights, and I'll be right back here. Alright, so let's keep it going. Now we're moving on to 30s. And keep in mind, once you move up in your first weight, your first workout, whenever you're doing this, you're only going to be doing 2 workouts. Your curls, and then your skull crushers. And then once you get into the second set, you're going to be doing your curls, skull crushers, and then your drop set. And then that's when I supplement in the, what is it called? The forearm curls. But right now my grip is thrashed, so I'm not doing that. Feel free to do it if you're stronger than moi. All right, y'all. Let's keep this shit rolling. Oh yeah. You know what's kind of funny? Before before people really got to know me, they used to ask me all the time, like meeting them. And I'm not even huge, just keep that in mind. But there's always a natty or not question that I get from people. And even in the, like, not when I first started working out, but like 5 years in, they're like, dude, what are you taking, bro? Give me the secret. And I'm like, bro, there's no secret. There is no secret. My secret is I've been here day in and day out, 365 days a year. And now, I have missed gym sessions throughout that time, right? But I guarantee you, there are times that I went 2 times to the gym, you know, because I didn't feel like the first workout did what it had to do. And so I know in my soul, I've went in 1 year, probably like 380 times, even with missing a few days here and there, even with vacations, even with working, even with school. You have to keep pushing because the work has to get done. There is no shortcut. There's no secrets. There's nothing that'll put you where you want to be except you getting your fucking ass up and working. That's the only thing that'll get you going. Anyways, let's go groceries. Oh, I was just sitting on my phone, or laying on my phone. It's a good thing I have an actual arch in my bag. Alright, so let's go ahead and move into this next set. Oh yeah. No cuts, no yapping, no nothing. Drop sets. Good. Alright. Now don't forget, when you're doing your drop sets, hold it more on the inside, and when you do curl, get the supination of you twisting your arm like that. It creates a better burn, and you can't do it on high weight, so you want to do it with your drop set. You know? Let's keep this going, yeah? The intensity is something else, y'all. Let's keep this shit rolling. I'm gonna take a little break and decide if I'm gonna go up to 40s or keep it at the same level. Let's see where we lie, y'all. Alright, y'all. Alright, y'all, and we are not gonna continue the superset. What we're gonna end up doing is doing another set, but focus on biceps. And the way you do that is instead of getting the curl, you focus on just straight bicep, straight like that. And honestly, y'all, I might stand up for this one. Let's see. 6 is all I got, yeah. No. Fuck it. You guys can see it through, yeah? Whoosh. Cuts. Alright, y'all. Now, at this point, what are we gonna do? I don't know if we're gonna do rear delts or side delts yet. Alright, I'm gonna take a break and I'll be right back with y'all. Let me see what I do. Alright, so I'm gonna move into some side delt work. Let's go ahead and do 4 sets of 10. Alright, set 2. Let's get into it, y'all. Like I said, set 2. We're gonna do progressive overload on every single set. But I'm gonna finish out at 30, 35s. We'll see how we go. Alright, y'all, let's move into the third set. Alright, y'all, third set. And now, right now, we're not doing any talking, we're doing straight work. Because I'm not even gonna hold you. I gotta take a fat piss, bro, and I ain't even trying to hold myself like that. You know what I mean? So, let's go ahead and get this shit going. And then we'll use the restroom in a second. Katsuro. Oh yeah. Alright, so enough of that one. Let's go use the restroom when we come back and we're gonna hit this machine on some reverse lat. Actually, we're gonna do some tricep extensions. Let's get it going, y'all. Alright, y'all, so now we're feeling a little bit better. We went ahead and went to go drain the main vein. Now, we're going to be doing tricep extensions, yo. Now, honestly speaking, this workout is going to be phenomenal for you to build up your triceps. And honestly, I ain't got that much more to do today. We're going to be doing tricep extensions. After this, we're going to work on our rear delts. We already worked on our front side. Now we're going to be hitting our rear delts. And then after this, I'm thinking about doing heavy curls with the straight bar attachment. And then after that, heavy shoulder presses. And then after that one, we're going to go ahead and get into some heavy tricep extensions. So let's go ahead and gas out, y'all. The goal here is to reach failure. And I'm telling you, today's going to be a good day to be today's a good day to be a failure. Fuck that. Boy. One thing though, with this workout, I use my lats to hold myself in place. Them hoes is fried right now. So tomorrow is definitely going to be a leg. I'll take that back. Tomorrow's going to be a chest day. And then tomorrow, after that, it's going to be a leg day. Alright, we're going to do 2 or 3 sets just like that. And then we're going to switch over to some rear delt work. Let's keep this shit going, y'all. I'll see you on the next shot. Peace. Yo, so real shit. I low-key felt like I was starting to get gassed out. And then some fucking old ass banger starts playing in my head. And I'm in my AirPods, and I'm like, holy shit. Fuck being tired. We do not yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. No, um, ooh, shit. Solid shit, yo. Solid it up. So let's keep it going. Set 3. The energy is starting to taper off, but we're still able to push with a certain level of consistency. So there's that. Let's keep this going, yo. All right, John, moving into the next set. Let's go ahead and get into it, yeah? One more set, let's move into the next set. All right, John, a few updates. Today I actually did, my diet was a little bit different. I ended up taking in more carbohydrates throughout the day in order to try to make up for the level of fucking carbs that I'm burning right now, because all of these sets back to back to back in this way are actually very taxing on your carbs, right? So you're going to be burning a lot of carbs in order to get your source of energy. And I ended up eating one potato. Potatoes are about 44 to 60 grams of carbs. I had a slice of bread that's 3.5 grams of fat, 11 grams of protein, at about 44 grams of carbs. So I'm about at 80 grams of carbs. But that ain't no doing it. I'm gonna have to actually double that and see if I'm good from there. So I'm gonna be making it a goal to eat right around 200 to like 160 to 200 carbs before I come to the gym, so I can go ahead and feel amazing. Because right now, holy, yo. But let's go ahead and get into these sets. Okay. You already know this is one of my favorite rear delt work. The stretch you get on this one is just immaculate. It is like very understated. One thing though, you want to hold these things because when you come across like this, you're liable to smack the shit out of yourself. And also, when I move, I'm going to be setting up a podcast studio, yeah? I want to film some shows when I'm at the house. I might even invite some friends on the podcast and just have them wear like masks and shit in case they're kind of nervous to expose themselves. But that would be dope. No cap. But aside from that, life is going pretty good. I helped somebody else get into college. I helped them with their application. I'm going to be helping them out with their FAFSA. And yeah, you got to make sure that you're supporting those around you the way you would want them to support you. Because oftentimes we're limited by our circle of friends, you know? So if you see your friend trying to do something, whether it's a business, whether it's school, whether it's anything, just go ahead and support them, brother. Like, your support goes a long way, especially if they're the type that they've gone through life and people told them what they can and cannot accomplish. So they have limitations placed on them from other people. They might not be as strong as you. They might not be able to shake the shackles of, how would I say that? They might not even be able to shake the shackles of a placed on them by other people, you know? They might actually value what other people say, and you might not give a fuck, you know? So if you're in a position to help other people, I feel like it's almost your God-given duty to help them. And especially because a lot of us have self-doubt. A lot of us have things wrong with us that hold us back from pushing forward. And sometimes all it takes is a simple, you can do it. And that motivates them to change their life. Because one thing I've always said to myself is I'm surprised with the background that I had. I grew up without a father, without a lot of things that kids should have, you know? And I'm glad I was able to have the ability to self-regulate myself, because the environments I grew up and I grew in, a lot of the people around me became drug dealers. They became gang members. They became and not even like small drugs, like selling weed and shit, but selling coke. I have like one of my oldest friends from childhood, from elementary school. I used to know that kid since he was 6, brother, and I met up with him when he was 14, and I was probably 17. The dude was dealing coke. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm actually surprised I had the ability to self-regulate myself, because if it wasn't for God's grace and my God-given abilities, because being able to self-regulate yourself is a learned thing, but it's also something that some people are able to do better than others. You know what I mean? And I'm just blessed that throughout life I was able to remove myself from situations that could have ended badly for me. And it was, yeah, like, just to be vulnerable a little bit and kind of be open with y'all. When I was young, I had a friend who used to actually break into car dealerships and steal cars. And he would go around joyriding and have fun and all these things. And he would always have women with him and everything. So it looked lit, right? And now, I'm not a car guy, but I like driving nice cars. And when they would pull up with the cars, the Scat Pack, a 2020 Scat Pack, at 16, 17 years of age, bro, I'm hopping in. I don't give a fuck. But it's because at that time, I thought about things very naively. Which I'm pretty sure they did the same thing, right? Because at that age, I didn't have the forethought to think ahead and to say, holy shit, if I go out with these people in a stolen car and all this and this and this, even though it might be fun, is that small 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours of fun worth 5, 10 years of your life? And, in that moment, that thought didn't even cross my mind, because my environment was so normal, that was so normalized, that whenever they came up, I didn't see it as an issue. Like, oh my God, a 13, 15-year-old just stole a car. I was like, holy shit, let's go. You know what I mean? It wasn't a thing of like, that's bad. It was like a thing of like, that's normal. And honestly speaking, the night he picked me up, this is why I believe in God, because I feel like I was saved by God, because the way it happened is they picked me up. I went with them and one other person. We ended up doing drifts. We went to a church. So we drifted on the lawn. We drifted in the streets. We were going crazy in a stolen car. And yeah, shit was very fun. And then out of nowhere, after going out drifting, I would do a J turn, which is when you're going backwards and you whip that bitch around. That shit was lit as fuck. I'm talking about, we were doing burnouts in the grass, and my friend stuck his hand and his head out of the door, out of the window, to record himself doing the drifts, like record us doing the drifts, right? And he got hit in the face with a pile of dirt. That shit was mad funny, bro. Like, when I look at those times, I'm actually like, I reminisce on them, because I'm like, bro, that was like lit. That was fun. That was some lit shit, right? But then I start thinking deeply about it, right? I never thought about that one. But then I start, no, not that I did think deeply, just looking back on it, right? And out of nowhere, I had got very, very tired, y'all. And I'm talking about exhausted to the point where I was like, you know what, bro? I can't do it anymore. We were supposed to meet up with some other friends and have some more fun and keep the night going. But I was like, yo, just drop me off at the house. I'm going to take a nap. And then come pick me up in about an hour. Oh, shit. To come pick me up in about an hour, 2 hours, right? And then they're like, cool, we need to relax a little bit. We're a little bit too hot anyway, so we're going to go home and chill as well. So I went home and I just went to sleep. And then they told me they came back to my house to pick me up. And they told me that I woke up, right? Because they went up to my window, because, of course, at this time, we're sneaking out. Our parents don't know and shit like that. So they come up to my window, poke a stick through the window, try to wake me up, because they didn't want to wake my parents. And because it's like giving like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at this time. And they tell me that I wake up, which I have no recollection of waking up. I wake up, I snatch the stick from them, and I go right back to bed. Now, that sounds like something that I would do. And so I believe them, right? And tell me why. The next day, I go to call my friend, and I'm like, so essentially I got too tired to go out, and they went out and they had fun and everything. And then I get a call I try to call my friend, right? And I'm reaching out to him, reaching out, trying to see what happened, because the radio silence is crazy. After a night like that, I would try to get some clips, trying to, have fun, or get the videos of the night before, right? And tell me why I didn't find out until the next day after that, right? So the day after, like 2 days after we went out and had fun like that, that after he left and he went to go have fun with his friends, he was actually having fun the way we were, but he hit a corner too hard and he flipped the car. And they flipped a stolen car. And he, keep in mind, we're 16, 17 around this time. So he had 14, 13 year olds and he was 17. So that he went to jail, bro. Tried as a fucking adult because he endangered children. Because he had, even though they weren't like a huge age difference, the guys are 2 years younger than him, they were still considered minors legally. So he had a charge of, like, he got, even though he didn't steal the car, somebody else stole the car and lent it to him. He went to jail for a stolen vehicle, endangering kids, driving recklessly, and all these other charges. And the guy ended up doing like 2 years in jail. And the motherfucker was never the same after that. And I sit there and I count my blessings and I'm like, damn, that could have been me. If I would have never gotten tired, that could have been me. And I'm telling y'all, there are multiple situations just like that one that reinforced my ability, reinforced my belief in God. To be honest, because when that happened, all I could think was, "Holy shit!" And keep in mind, at that time, around that time, I did not believe in God. I was agnostic like a motherfucker, and because in my head I was like, "There's no way there is a God if my life is like this," you know. Which a lot of us have that opinion when we're younger because we don't have the experience of life. And but after going through that, bro, that felt like a fucking epiphany to me. I was like, nah. That's when I went from being agnostic to being fully believing in God. And ever since then, there's been like 6 times just like that, some situation just like that, where I've narrowly gotten saved. And honestly, you can't go through shit like that. And it happened so serendipitously to the point where you're like, nah, somebody's planning this out. Somebody is watching out for me. Just like I told you, my tire popped on the highway. That could have been bad. And the guy that gave me a new tire, he told me, dude, this could have been a lot worse for you. You have God on your side. And I was like, damn. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Like, the more and more I feel like I have doubts, the more God reassures me in His own way. But yeah, that's my experience with religion, y'all. Let's go ahead and work on some curls with the straight bar. Let's keep it going, y'all. All right, y'all. We're about like 30 minutes in. Now we're gonna start powering through the sets, but we still got a lot we gotta do. We gotta do curls. Right now we're pushing curls till failure, yo. That's why we're going with the straight bar attachment. And then right after that, we're gonna be going to some heavy shoulder presses. And then after the heavy shoulder presses, bro, we're gonna go into some tricep extensions, and we're gonna gas out, yo. We're like 3 workouts from being finished, but a lot of us, there's an effect to where the closer and closer you get to the finish line, the more tired you get, the more exhausted you feel. And in those moments, you have to log in and remember why you started. You know, at the end of the day, we don't come to the gym just to show off, just to be stronger. We come to the gym because there's a lack inside of us, and we don't know where that lack comes from. That lack might come from your relationships with people or your relationships with yourself. And coming to the gym, we're doing it to fill a void that we currently are having issues with. So if you haven't been coming to the gym, don't be ashamed. That might actually be a good thing because a lot of us are pushed here. It's not a choice. A lot of us feel like the gym is the only thing that could save us because we have nobody. So if you haven't had that experience, take that as a blessing. And the minute you get the motivation to come to the gym, push it as hard as you can. And keep in mind, the gym is a healing place. Coming to the gym day in and day out actually heals a part of you that needs healing, part of you that you haven't been able to heal through other outlets, you know. So let's keep in mind why we started, and let's keep working out, yo. Right now, we're really focusing on that eccentric movement. The concentric movement is fine, the going up, but the going down, that's where more than 60% of more than like 70% of the muscle is built on the way down. And that's actually where people get hurt when they're doing workouts and they only control the way up and not the way down. That's how people tear pecs. Oh, shut up. All right, we're gonna go about 4 sets, and I'm gonna take a little time to really lock in and focus because my brain is going elsewhere right now. It's going to a dark place, and honestly speaking, a lot of my gym motivation and things like that come from dark places. They don't come from a place of happiness. They come from a place of disgust. A disgust in the way that things happen, and the need to change, not the want. Disgust in the way that things are, and the need to change. That's what's gotten me here day in and day out. And I'm gonna walk through this feeling because if I figure out how to fix this, I might be able to help people that are having the exact same issue. And if I can help one person change their life, in return, that could heal a part of me that needs healing. You know? All right, y'all. Let's get into this next set. All right. The next set we're gonna do, we're actually gonna take the rest I was talking about earlier, so that we can make those worthwhile. All right, y'all. I'll be right back with y'all. Peace. All right, y'all. Moving into the final set of curls, and honestly, I'm feeling it. Just my emotions are holding me more down than my fatigue is, so I'm trying to power through that. And I'm being a little bit vulnerable, a little bit honest with you guys because I know I'm not the only one dealing with this, and sometimes it might feel like you are, but the human experience is oftentimes very unique in the way that you might not believe it because you might be so engrossed in your own pain, your own soaking in your own shit, essentially, right? And you might but while sitting in your own perspective, you might believe you're the only one that has been through that, and then you reach out and let people know what you've been through, and you find out, oh shit, there are many people that have been through exactly, almost as if they've lived my life exactly the same thing. And if I could take their experiences and learn something from them, that would help my life out. And honestly, like right now, through being vulnerable, I might help one person out, and to me, that's worth it. So, because a lot of the time, people, and I get that sometimes the David Goggin mentality does help you. Sometimes you do need somebody to tell you, shut the fuck up, stop being a little bitch, and get the shit done. There's a time and place for that. But then when you're by yourself, when you're alone with your thoughts, what can we do to truly move past this level of pain, this level of adversity that we have in our heads? Because it's easy to say, stop being sad, but it's hard to explain how that works. And right now, I'm on a journey of figuring that out. And hopefully I can bring you along. And if I figure it out, maybe I can help you. So, yeah, let's keep this going, yo. I take heavy the philosophy of the great philosopher from Finding Nemo, Dory. If you don't know how to sit with what you're feeling, don't distract yourself, but keep on swimming. Stay busy, because the devil loves idle hands. Oh yeah. Let me go heavier. That was gonna be my last one, but just through powering through, I realized that I'm not that sore. All right, let's keep it going. Oh shit. Alright, y'all. Moving into shoulder presses. I'm moving into shoulder presses. And now, honestly speaking, I think I'm starting to figure out that the reason I like just keep moving so much is because the alternative is to die. And the alternative, it's not an option because you know, and honestly, even when I say this, sometimes I don't believe it that much because sometimes I say the reason you keep going is because there are loved ones who care about you, and honestly, that could be a contributing factor, but it's not enough sometimes. When you're sitting with your shit, it's not enough to just think about somebody else. You're too you're too in your head to even be able to consider other people, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that right now. I need to figure out what is the whole point of keep on going without saying it's because of other people. What makes you keep going, and without any regards to somebody else? You know. All right, let's get this thing going, yo. 4 sets of 10. You know, that's actually the dark part about depression. You don't you don't see the good side of life. All you see is the shit you're going through. And honestly, I feel like in these cases you do need help. You should be okay reaching out to people. All right, y'all, moving into the second set. And before we get into that, I just want to let y'all know that something that has helped me out tremendously is simply talking about what I've been through. And honestly speaking, there was a time in my life when I was like, oh no, my childhood didn't affect me whatsoever. I'm perfectly fine in spite of everything that I went through. And then the reality of it hit when I started seeing places in life that I was affected because of my past in a way. Or I would see me mirroring certain things my parents did, and I'm like, holy shit, even if it might be psychologically deep hidden in my head, it does affect me. It does affect my relationships with people. And just breaking down that barrier of I'm a tough person, I'm okay. It doesn't matter what you put me through, I'll be okay. Breaking down that barrier and just talking about what I've been through has been tremendously healing for me. It's caused me to realize that what happened to me was not my fault, and it wasn't justified, and it wasn't right for that to happen to a kid, you know? And just talking about it and expressing that, wow, I did get fucked up from things that were outside of my control, and that wasn't my fault. But now that I'm an adult and I have the ability to help myself, if I don't help myself, it is my fault. You know what I mean? I need to go out there and be okay with, not be okay, but accept what has happened to me and then make sure that that fault isn't mine, because at that time I was just a kid, bro. A kid can't control what happens to them. They can't even fight back, you know? So after giving myself that grace of it's okay, it wasn't your fault, I actually feel better. I actually do. And sometimes the camera is healing to me. Sometimes the camera is healing to me because I get to kind of express myself in a way that I don't normally with people because of the way I've isolated myself. So thank you. These videos actually help me out a ton, more than you guys know. But yeah, go ahead and get to set 2, y'all. Shoulda. All right, let's go ahead and double the weight, and that's gonna be my final set. I'll see y'all when we hit that third set, y'all. Now we're getting to the third set. I'm still gonna do tricep pushdowns because I'm motivated to keep going. But let's finish out this third set. Solid. All right, let's move into the next workout. Alright, John. We're just going to power straight through these last ones. We're going to do about 3 sets of these supersetted tricep extensions. So let's get this shit going, yo. We're doing 2. Alright, this will be the second to last set. Oh, maybe the last set. We're gonna cut off the overhead extensions, so we'll pass it, yep. And yeah, I'm gonna check. Overhead extensions, these are actually that bitch disappeared. Alright, y'all. So that's the end of the video. Well, before we get into the end of the video, this is going to be the post arm and shoulder day pose down. So let's keep this shit going, y'all. I'm feeling pretty gassed. The tank is completely, absolutely empty. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this pose now, y'all. Look at that. The chest is still sore from yesterday's chest day. So yeah, no way around that. Alright, y'all. Let's keep this shit going, y'all. And actually, let's just go regular. I'm gonna hit him with the... Alright. Let's see. Alright. No. I feel really gassed out today, y'all. Oh shit. Yeah. What was one pose I wanted to do? I don't know. Whew. Alright, y'all. That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you want to see every single video that's coming out every single day, make sure to turn on that notification bell. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure you have a good night. And yeah, if you need anything, feel free to come back to the channel. I'll see y'all next time, bro. That's all I got. Peace.